Hey everybody, how are you doing? Cool. We are going to have a really good show today. This show is going to be actually, hopefully, quite enlightening for you. Um, we are going to talk about Jesus and Buddha and the comparison of their teachings, which is very, very important for us to talk about because I don't feel that this subject has been talked about enough. So before, as you know, I go into the um, bulk of it, I am going to do some cards, and I'm going to do a few cards tonight. So hopefully you don't mind. So, hey Ashley, and Michael, glad you guys are here. Oh, cool. Hey, I think you guys are in Illinois. Nice, nice. Oh yeah, that's right, graduation. Should be very proud of him. That's a really good move. Very good move. So the first card that came out, which is interesting, is the butterfly card, and it's rebirth. You can reinvent yourself, open to the rewards of change. You have brilliance to share with the world. Love every part of your journey. So that's our card for today, which is rebirth. You know, I feel that in our lives, we have a lot of rebirths. We just don't have one. We don't have like a religious one. You know, a lot of times you're reborn in religion. But I think a lot of times as we walk through life, we we are constantly reinventing ourselves, constantly. And I think you almost have to, because I think when it comes with maturity, and certain segments of life. Let me look like it's tilting a little bit. We have to constantly be reinventing who we are until our dying day. And because the world changes, so do we. And our environment changes, and so do we. And so I think that's a really pertinent card, the butterfly. It's pretty cool. Then I'm doing kind of these relationship cards just because I know we have, well, it's always good for everybody to hear it. There's one, so I always ask my guide just to pop some out that might resonate with people either now or later. So there's going to be 3 relationship cards that I'm going to present to you today. And then you see my Oracle deck behind me. And we're going to do always now a card from now on from the Oracle cards of my deck, which is super cool. And I have to tell you, this is Jesus Christ. it's like a Coca-Cola t-shirt. So I had to wear that. I had to wear that because of what our topic is today. So the first one that popped out of the deck is feel unloved. You deserve someone who can support you emotionally and love you fully. And I think that can be pertinent. I think communication is, if you see the people on the couch, they're doing their own thing and they're just sitting by each other. Of course, I'm not married, so I can't say anything, but I think communication is key, and to let each other know from the heart space that they are seen and heard. And then I think that's just really important. I think it's important for anybody to be seen and heard. When you're ignored or people talk about you in front of your face, you are not being seen and heard. Hold on. I keep getting this pop up, so let me click out of that. So that's a good one to be aware of. This one is probably for more single people. It's mixed signals. You don't let others know you are interested, so it's telling you to flirt and be approachable. So don't give mixed signals, just go straight forward. Because a lot of times people, they can't read it. So for those that need it, this one I thought was really interesting. And the picture on this one is really interesting. is called getting crumbs. And this is like so true for the dating world. You deserve more than crumbs of affection. Wait for the one who adores you. And that, okay, so let me show you this picture. This person's going to be waiting a very long time. It's like he's in a hut and he's looking at the boat sailing away. And I thought, oh, honey, you're going to be waiting a long time to find someone that adores you. But, what is adoration? That is a big word that I was talking about on one of my channelings is adoration and adoring. And I think that word is going by the wayside, where it used to be where people would adore themselves, not themselves, but others. And I think adoration is a key word of, I think it's kindness. Adoration is just plain kindness to another. And actually seeing them, hearing them, excuse me, and you deserve more than crumbs of affection. I thought that was a really powerful statement, because how many times have you been in a relationship where you've just had little crumbs, and that's all you'll take it, because that's all that's given to you, and then the crumbs don't last very long, and so I just think that that was a very powerful statement. So the card that came out on my deck, some of you here have my deck, and the card that came out is number 10, which is Akhenaten. The Akhenaten card came upright. Let me see. There you go. You can see it a little bit better. And it's just kind of a Egyptian village with a Nile going through it. Michael and I chose not to put Akhenaten's picture on here because we just couldn't get it right. So I said, let's just put the village on there. Let's just do Egyptian village. And so this turned out really good. So Akhenaten, the sun, and Akhenaten was a misrepresented leader with a profound mission, much like you. Despite your good nature and giving spirit, strength, and resilience, you may feel misunderstood at times. You have the ability to let things roll off your back. You recognize that others' judgments of you stem from their own broken perceptions. Once you embrace this truth and reclaim your power, you will realign with your life's mission. With this newfound clarity, you will gain the ability to see the future and beyond and recognize that every step that you take is guiding you closer to your end game. I'm not going to go through all of it, but I think that's really pretty cool. Akhenaten is actually a very powerful leader in my life, and we'll just go with that. So we are going to go on Jesus and Buddha. So let me go here. Let me bring this in, you guys. Oh, whoops. I don't want that one. Hold on. I want to go back to one. Okay, let's go back to this one. I was playing around with this before I got on. So Jesus and Buddha, comparison teachings, structure and comparison of the teachings of Jesus and Buddha, highlighting similarities and differences in their core messages and philosophies. Both Jesus and Buddha emphasize compassion, love for others, and the importance of ethical conduct. Their teachings encourage followers to seek inner transformation and cultivate virtues such as kindness and forgiveness. When I was of course, I know more about Jesus than I do of Buddha. And so as I was studying kind of the main characteristics of Buddha, I was actually quite surprised. I feel calm and peaceful whenever I look at him, but there is a real soulful perception of Buddha and what he left us in his life. And just so you know, if you think about it, I went for a walk today, just kind of contemplating about this topic. And I really felt, I said, Jesus and Buddha served us. They didn't come on this planet for themselves. They came to serve us and give us what needed to be given. And then they left, leaving that pertinent message for us. And I thought, how many times do we emulate that in the service of others, in the service of our family, in this caretaker of our environment, work, home, that many times I think we need to realize that we are here to help. We are here to hold out our hand when needed. We are here to be wise. We are here to give wisdom. We are here to be a caretaker. Like I said, we are caretakers of our environment. And we need to really be solid in that and not whimsical. And I think the people that are in your environment need to know that firm foundation. They need to know that there is a foundation there, that when they need to fall, they can fall on that foundation. When life gets hard, things get confusing, and we need to know that there's a soft place to fall. And if you, this is key, that when you don't have a soft place to fall, life gets hard and you get hard, and you might be misrepresenting choices, who you are, situations. So I feel that we need to emulate that, and we need to make sure that those that we care about know that they can rely on us steadily, that there's a soft place to fall when you need it. And I think that is key. I'm just going to relate to my life. My mother was my soft place to fall. She was always there for me, listened. She always listened to me. And sometimes I just go, blah, blah, blah. Poor Michael, he kind of knows that sometimes I get, and I get stressed out. And it's nice to know that either you have friends or family, they may not like it, but they are the soft place to fall. And that is service to each other, to have that firm foundation for each other. And I really feel that Jesus and Buddha's teachings were really elevating that, they're not going to be here forever, but they're going to leave us great information so that we can emulate their lives, emulate their teachings, or at least absorb it and bring it into you, and the wisdom. It says, while Jesus' teachings centered on faith in God, salvation, and the concepts of the kingdom of heaven, Buddha's teachings focused on the path of enlightenment and the Four Noble Truths, and overcoming suffering through mindfulness and meditation. We're going to really hit on that because I didn't know that this was what he was all about. And that key suffering, we're going to go through that too. Approach to spiritual practices. Jesus advocated for prayer, faith, and loving one's neighbor as oneself. Buddha promoted meditation, mindfulness, and following the Noble Eight Paths to achieve liberation from suffering. We're going to go through that too. So this is going to be a little bit more on Buddha's teachings. So then I was thinking, who is stronger, Buddha or Jesus? And of course, I would say Jesus. But the strengths of Buddha and Jesus, the question of whether Buddha or Jesus is stronger, does not refer to the physical power, but rather to the impact and depth of their teachings. Both spiritual leaders, ascended masters, I'll say, demonstrated remarkable strength through their compassion, ethical guidance, and ability to inspire and transform others. Jesus' strength is evident in his unwavering faith in God, his mission of salvation, and his vision of the keys of the kingdom of heaven. His teachings encouraged believers to practice love, forgiveness, and faith, which have shaped countless lives over the centuries. So if you think about it, it's been over 2,000 years since Jesus has left the earth. And his teachings are just as strong today as they were then. And I keep saying that I think if we were around at that time of Jesus's life, we would not only listen to his words, we would feel the power coming from his whole being. He had to have such an energy field, and that's what attracted people. Was sometimes I don't think they knew why they were attracted to this man, but it changed people. And not only the words changed people, but they felt it. They felt the words. And I believe Buddha is along the same line for his people, is that because of his wisdom being so great and kind, people felt it and they wanted to be like them. And so I think that's something that we need to bring into our hearts, that in our everyday life, because life, when we walk outside our home, most people, that's when the challenges happen, is outside of our home, usually, our everyday lives. And I think if you can combat those challenges with these two men in your lives and study their teachings and what they have given us as gifts, that we need to bring this back. I remember there was a lot of celebrities when I was growing up, and they were going into Buddhism, and I go, oh, brother, and I really kind of understand it now, because a lot of people in that genre get hit with a lot of crap and a lot of bad vibes. And so those people in like the Hollywood were probably searching for peace and grounding. And actually Buddhism gives you that. And so let's go on that. Let me go to this next one. So we're going to talk about the Four Nobles here. I hope everybody can see and hear me. You haven't said anything. And these are the teachings of ascended masters, offering a transformation perspective on spiritualism, encouraging individuals to recognize their inherent divinity and pursue a path of love, unity, and personal empowerment. By embracing these teachings, followers can cultivate a deeper connection with their spiritual selves. This is ascension, you guys. This is ascension right in front of you, right here. So Buddhism, the Four Noble Truths. And I'm going to just touch on them, and then I'm just going to go by spirit on what the spirit tells me to tell you. The Four Noble Truths are at the foundation of Buddhism, providing a conceptual framework of understanding the nature of existence, its cause, and how to live without it. Interesting. The first noble truth: life involves suffering. Its cause is desire, and it can end. I'm sorry, I'm reading really small. And the path to end is to Noble Eight Paths, and we're going to cover that. So on my side, life is suffering. And I go, well, that's rude. Life is suffering. And it's the planet of tears. And I really feel that we are born crying. We come into this world crying Of course, if we're not crying, the doctor promotes crying because it's good for our lungs. But think of it. We come into this world crying. And what's to say, birth is traumatic, probably for a baby, but also it's leaving its comfort zone. It was peaceful and angelic in the mother's womb. And it had everything it needed. It had nourishment. It probably had enlightenment. And then it comes into this world and it has to breathe on its own. And someone is slapping it on its back right off the bat. Right off the bat, that baby is getting slapped. And that's how we begin. And then we have to figure it out from then on, because then you're on your own. Yes, you have parents. Some are good parents and some are not good parents. Some help you and some don't. But that's where these teachings come into play, because I think Buddha and Jesus knew that this life is kind of individual, and it's the individual choices that we make. In my book, Your Divinity, I talk about the planet of tears, and I wanted to read this to you because this is about suffering. There is a place not found on any map, a place every soul visits, through though few speak of it. It is called the planet of tears. It is not made of soil or stone, but of sorrow and silence. Its skies are heavy with grief. Its rivers run with longing. And yet it is sacred. No one chooses to land there. You wake up one day and realize you've arrived through heartbreak, loss, betrayal, or the slow erosion of hope. You look around and wonder, is this exile? But it is not. It is invitation. You expect to be alone, but you are not. There is one who walks its valleys barefoot, who knows every tear by name. He does not rush you. He does not shame you. He simply sits beside you and weeps. His tears mingle with yours, and in the mingling, something begins to grow. On the planet of tears, flowers bloom from mourning. Strength rises from surrender. You begin to see that tears are not weakness. They are water. They soften the soul, cleanse the spirit, and prepare the ground for resurrection. You do not stay forever, but you do not leave it unchanged. When you return to your world, you carry something holy, a gentleness, a wisdom, a knowing. You speak with compassion. You listen with depth. You love with the memory of divine tears. And when others arrive on that planet, you do not fear for them. You simply whisper, you are not alone. There is healing here. So this is a really powerful book. And if you don't have it, please get it. It's unfortunate on Amazon that I had trolls on this book, but I have the feeling that the trolls happened because this book is sacred and very special, and it should be read and reread to keep you strong. So the second noble truth is suffering arrives from craving, attachment, and ignorance. So what does that mean? I think craving is something that's not controlled in your life, could misguide your decisions and pathway. I put craving with desire, and we have so much crap in front of our face that if you take that first step, then sometimes you take another step, and then you might take another step. And then you're going, oh, I'm all the way in now. And then you're going, whoops. And then you're going, I can't control this, because then you crave it, because it absorbs into yourself the desire and craving. And that's when you have to think, why am I wanting this? What is it happening in my life or about me that makes me crave or desire something that might not be the healthiest choice for me? And how powerful are you to block it, to put your shield up, and to say, I'm not going there, Satan. That made me think of the church lady on Saturday Night Live. um, and maybe make it funny like that, like, not today, Satan. You're not going to take me today. Make it kind of a joke, and then just block it and think about it and evaluate it. Sometimes I feel that I have to do this is sometimes I have to pull out the situation in front of me, and I have to look at it and I have to evaluate it. That's why I walk, is because that's me pulling something out of me that I don't know how to handle, or I've allowed into my life, and then I don't know how to handle it. And I have to look at it. And then I have to think, okay, Robin, what are you going to do with this? You got it right here. And are you going to be sorrowful over it? Are you going to cry over spilt milk? And then why did you make that decision that put you here and then made it life a little bit sideways? And then I listen. And my walking is so good, because then I listen, and then I hear that maybe it wasn't all about me. Maybe there's situations that I needed to walk through, or maybe this was a test for me to see, okay, we've taught you, and now we're going to challenge you, and we're going to see what you're going to do. And you're going, okay, did I pass or did I fail? And I don't actually believe in failure. It's so funny. I have a new job starting this week, and I had to get licensed for this job. I guess this is what I've been going through, is I had to get fingerprinted, and I had to go through all these background checks, and I had proof of my, how hard it is to find your diploma from high school. I mean, that was like ancient. That's like an antique. And so I had to find all these things. And I had to jump through a lot of hoops for this job. And this job, I prayed about this job. I wanted a job that I could serve humanity, I could make a difference and make money at. And it fell in my lap. And I'm going to be working with the youth, which I love the youth. And so, and these youth are not stellar. They've had hard lives and hard knocks. And I thought, well, if I can adopt a cat that's been abused and neglected and sent to live in a feral colony, and I brought this cat into my life, and 2 years I've had this cat. And now this cat, it took it a year to understand that my hand was not going to hit it, that it was for petting and loving. And that now every night this cat comes up to my face and starts licking my face. Huge, huge thing to have a cat trust you that much. And this cat is a love bug now. It just wants to be pet and loved all the time. It will not sit on my lap. It will not sit. It's a ground cat. And so I thought, if I can do that with a cat, then maybe with youth that have had hard times, that maybe that's not going to be really my job, but I am an instigator on helping people. So maybe think about that attachment and ignorance. Ignorance is because lack of education, lack of knowledge, lack of studying, lack of going outside yourself and seeing what's out there that can help you. There is so much information out there, you guys. Books. I mean, I'm a reader, but if you don't like to read, instead of just going through Facebook, maybe finding something of value to teach you to change your heart. And I think attachment is codependence. Codependence, I feel, is from most of us. I'm codependent, and I had to get over that. I think it comes from childhood and wanting to be loved and recognized and seen. And there is if you want, I'm not going to go too much into it, but codependency no more. I went to a counselor when I was in Mormon church. He's a Mormon counselor. He recommended this book. He goes, "You're codependent." And I go, "Wow, what does that mean?" And so, see, I was ignorant. I didn't know. And so I read this book. He goes, "I want you to read this book, Codependency No More." And I read that book like in a day. And I went, this page says Robin, this page says Robin, this page says Robin. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. What's going on? Had no idea. And that's where I'm saying knowledge is power. And if you're ignorant, then that is your mistake, because you don't need to be ignorant, because we have the web, we have the internet. There's no reason to be ignorant on anything, any subject you can look up. Then the third noble truth from Buddha: suffering can be eliminated by letting go of cravings and clinging. How many times have you seen people that so want something in their life that they'll become anything? They'll do anything to have that. A person, love me, please love me. And they will cling on to a guy to love them. That's it. Love me, love me, love me. And that's suffering, because you're not understanding your actions, and you can't force someone to love you. That it has to come natural, and it has to be organic. You can't force it. Suffering is unnecessary, because all of you guys here are mature people, and we don't need to suffer. Yeah, we get sideways. Yeah, something will hit us and throw us sideways. But we don't have to suffer in it. We no longer have to suffer. And I want you to really realize that. And I want you to own that, because you don't have to suffer anymore. It has to be a choice. And if you choose to suffer, that's sad, because you can't get those minutes back. You can't get those hours back. You can't get those days back that you chose to suffer and wallow in a depression, etc., etc. Now, I know there's certain things, chemicals in the brain and stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about awareness that you can control. And so Buddha is letting us know that we don't have to suffer. And once you walk out of your past and let it go, let it go. Stop pulling it back in. And I'm not perfect, you guys. I'm just giving you information. I do this. So I'm talking to you from a person that has suffered. And I think when I most suffered, I didn't understand that I could pull out. I just really didn't understand it. I thought that this is the way my life was going to be, that I was going to be sad. And the only thing that really made me happy was going shopping. I love to shop, because it was a award to buy myself something. It awarded me a moment of happiness until I got the bill. And so really think that you don't have to suffer anymore. Let it go. Let it be gone. And when you feel that moment of suffering, or that, because it's a mindset, And it takes probably years for us to get over that mindset that some people are in a comfort zone of suffering. And some people are in the comfort zone of suffering because they get attention from suffering and being like not they get attention. It's a negative attention. And so that's one thing Buddha really wanted us to really recognize is stop it. Stop the suffering. The fourth noble, the path to the cessation of suffering is the noble eighth path. And we're going to go through that here in a minute. So the eighth path, where this will, let's see, we have good time. Okay. So I'm going to get a couple books too on Buddha to really reinforce this in my life so I can read this and bring this into my presence. These truths are central to the Theravada tradition of Buddhism, sorry if I said that wrong, which holds that the insight into the four truths is liberating in itself. They are prominent in the Mahayana tradition, which sees the higher aims of insight into sunyata, emptiness, and sorry, I don't even know these words, but this is where I need to study and understand what each one of those elements, these are elements for teaching. So let's go into, I don't know if I have a slide on the 8. Yes. Okay. So, those are the four truths. Okay. So those are the four truths I just went over. So, and this, we have a card, and it was the rabbit card with the 3 keys. And it does talk about propelling ourselves out of our suffering. Humans must live through numerous lives to attain nirvana through many stages, some listed above. Nirvana is a union with the universe and release from the cycle of rebirth. And so I do believe that he is saying that we come down, we come down, we come down, we ascend, we ascend, we ascend. And I think sometimes we choose to come down and are hit hard because we have had lives of great teaching. And now sometimes we go into a life that we go, okay, give it to me full throttle. I got to see if I got this, if I can do mind over matter, mind over subject, mind over how I was raised, mind over abuse, however you are walking through this life. And some of us we come in and we get hit hard and then we pull out. And I think if you're here, you've pulled out. And so that is our cycle of nirvana, is come in hard, go through what we need to go through, and come to an understanding, let it go, and pull out. And now we can walk on our path through our own ascension. Okay, so Buddha's strengths is reflective in his profound understanding of suffering and the path to enlightenment. By teaching the Four Nobles, which are here, and the Noble Eight Paths, Buddha empowers followers to overcome suffering through mindfulness, meditation, and ethical living. Now, let me talk about that ethical living. Now, I don't know how to say this. So, when I had to go get fingerprinted, I had to go to health and welfare and get fingerprinted. I was number 99 to get fingerprinted. So I was there quite a long time. And as I was looking around the room, I could see each person's own suffering. You can see it on their face. Once you get to a point, you can look at them and you can see how life has affected them. And you just want to sometimes hold people And there was people there of all different ethnic cultures. And there was like this lady in Africa. She had her whole African garb on, and it's 22 degrees outside, and she had I call them thongs, sandals on. And I thought, I wanted to say, aren't your toes cold? But I didn't. I left it alone because that's her tradition. Ultimately, the concept of strength in their teachings lies in their ability to guide people towards inner peace, compassion, and personal transformation. Now, we know how Jesus knew his mission. How did Buddha know his mission? Who is Buddha? Did Buddha just appear? Was he born on this earth? That's something I haven't studied. I'm sure he was born, but how did he know? How do some of these enlightened masters, ascended masters, actually know it's them? They're the ones to teach us, and their words will last forever. Do they have a type of presence, knowledge that comes to them? And I think their life is service. They're serving us because they know that their time is short upon this planet, and it's time they have to give as much information to you as they can, and then it has to last forever in you, and you need to share it. Once you learn it and you apply it in your life, it is your right and responsibility to share it to the environment around you. Okay, so let's go into the eightfold. So number one, it says 8 practices leading to liberation from the painful cycle of rebirth in the form of nirvana. Number 1, and then I'm going to talk about this through spirit. It talks about right view of understanding the nature of reality, path of transformation. I think when we walk out of our lives, we transform. I think once you have an awareness of your path, and is it working for you? Is your daily path working for you? And I think as we grow older and mature, we make different choices, and we start seeing that maybe what we thought when we were younger that was really fun isn't a way we want to stay forever. Some people stay in that life forever, and you don't really see much growth out of them. They always have constant turmoil, and plausibility, and just things in their life that trigger them, and choices are made sideways because they're coming out from a still wounded area. And then you see those that look at their lives at a certain age and you go, this was okay for then, and I went through it. Now it's time to transform myself. And I think that's what number 1 is for that understanding of the reality of your life and what is actually real in your life. I was talking to the lady that fingerprinted me for this job, and we were talking about the president, and she was talking about it, and just kind of light, nothing controversial. And I said, I have to really realize, and I said this to her, that when all these people on TV, politicians, etc., talk, how does that affect my life? How is all this stuff, controversy that they do, how and what they say, how is that affecting my everyday life right now? And if I didn't listen to them, which I don't have a TV, if I didn't listen to them, my life would still be the same. But when I listen to them, it makes me triggered, angry, it does something to me. And then it just unsettles you sometimes. And I thought, why do I allow that in my life? Because it actually means nothing to me right now, because I have to live in the present and I have to take care of myself. And so that is my game. My game isn't politics. My game isn't all this stuff. Yes, a lot of it makes me sad. Yes, I wish they would do things. But does I have to help my environment? I guess that's when sometimes you have to bring it back to your environment. So the second one is the right to resolve, right intention, ethical and mental self-improvement. So here we go with that ethical and mental self-improvement. And how are you going to improve yourself? I think you have to have a desire to. You have to want to. You want to have to become better or even stronger. I don't think better is a good word. Stronger. And I think everything that you learn, you put under your feet as a firm foundation. And I think we all should crave knowledge, and we should all be searching for knowledge and truth. And it will be placed before you. If you search, it will be placed before you. And then it will take you here, and then it'll take you here, and then it'll take you here. And all of it's doing is building that foundation so you rise. The third is write speech truthfully. This is huge for me, is truth. I'm not perfect in this by any means, but I try to be, and I try not to hurt people ever intentionally. But we need to start speaking truthfully and stop lying and manipulating and owning our words. We need to own our words. Think about that. Okay, number 4, right conduct, action, ethical conduct, and refrain from harmful behaviors. I think that can be something that harmful behaviors, I think we can all know what harmful behaviors can be. And a lot of times we do harmful behaviors that affect us and or project out and affect others. And that's not a good place to be in a place where you're hurting yourself and hurting another or others. That's where you have to find resolve in your own self. And you need to understand why you made certain choices that put you there. Because there's a meaning behind every choice. We just don't make choices willy-nilly. Like, oh, I don't know why I made that choice. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And you can't deny it anymore. Because your choice comes from your head and your heart, and it comes out of you. And if you pause before you make choices, just pause. Even for a day, a week, pause on it until you are clear of it. And then think about, is this choice going to harm me? Is it going to help me? Is it going to bring me to a state where I want to be? Is it going to promote out to others? And how is all this going to affect my environment? Because one choice can affect your whole environment. And it can raise it up or it can put it down. And I think I I'll just use the example of a family member. Um, they, how do I say this? Anyway, there's a female that decided she didn't want to be married anymore. And she didn't want to just say it to her husband that she's married to. She didn't want to just say, I don't want to be married to you anymore. So she felt that that wasn't strong enough. That's to be honest. So she decided to go have an affair. And she had an affair and she made it known that she had an affair. And she was shocked at the ramifications of that. She thought it would just break her marriage apart and then she can go la 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 and have a really good life. No, it destroyed her family. It destroyed them. It destroyed her children. Her children wanted nothing to do with her after that. And she was shocked that that choice had that ramification. And I think that's where you need to pause and think, because it really did harm not only really to her, but to a lot of people, all the way down to me, where you go, what the heck? You know, and then you're feeling everybody's pain. I mean, the whole family, all the way down to cousins and everything. The whole family feels that pain from that one choice. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Right livelihood. Earn a living in a way that does not do harm to others. I think we can all figure that one out. Don't be a drug dealer, maybe, you know. So earn a living. I think it's very important. Work is very important. I mean, I love work. And I watched a movie with Carol O'Connor, and it was about a girl that got a heart transplant. And she met a guy, and she just felt really comfortable with this guy. It was David Duchovny was in it. And they actually his wife died, and he was going through a lot of pain with that. And then they found out that her heart was his wife's heart in her. Carol O'Connor was a Irish man in this film, super funny. And if anybody knows the name of that movie, it is really a good movie. I mean, it's just, it pulls at your heart. Because I think he knew that she had his wife's heart, but she didn't know that he was the husband of the woman. And Carol O'Connor said in that movie, I'm blessed by work. And I went, whoa, that is a really profound statement, because who says I am blessed by work? And then I started thinking about that, and I started adopting that into my psyche, that when I get up in the morning and I'm tired, I go, I'm blessed by work. Because look at my work keeps a roof over my head. It keeps food in my mouth. I have my car paid off. Da 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 da. I'm able to take care of cats. I am blessed by work. I am healthy enough and smart enough at this age in my life that I can continue on, and I am blessed by work. And here I am, I'm 64 years old, and I'm going into a new job. What 64-year-old decides that she's going to take on a job she's never done before and take it on and learn and make new friends? I mean, I love stuff like this. And so I'm going to do this as long as I can. Hopefully it's the last job, but it keeps me young. It really does. It keeps me young. Okay. Let's see. Number 6, right effort, positive state of mind, eliminate negative ones. So in this one, I think we all know self-talk, bad self-talk. And boy, Michael got on me this week because I did a negative self-talk, and he just, boom, he went right to my throat on it. And he gets really solid sometimes when I am down on myself, and I appreciate him on that. I really do. So he's good for me. So just remember positive self-talk. Let's see, right mindfulness. Number 7, awareness of the body, feelings, and thoughts. And I think that is self-control. And I think that's self-mastery also. And I think we need to be aware of our bodies. We need to be aware of what we put in our mouth. We need to be aware of, and I'm really into this right now, as you can see behind me, and I'm making all natural products because I'm tired of chemicals. I got chemicals in the sky. I got chemicals in the rain that come down. I have chemicals in foods. I mean, we just can't win anymore on chemicals. It's everywhere. I mean, we can't win. And so my process now is to bring as less chemicals into me as I can. And that's why I decided I'm going to do 100% all natural products. And I am shocked at how much better my skin is. It's not so dry. And it's soft and it feels good. I feel really healthy. So I think of, you'll never eliminate it, but bring it down as far as you can. Water is also good. It is like a river. Water goes into the mouth, it flows through the body, and it goes out. And think of water as a river, and it flushes out debris. Think of that. Okay. And I think feelings is just something that we always are. How many times a day do you have a change of feelings? Maybe it's just women. I don't know. But circumstances can change our feelings a lot. I think men have a more market on that, where they can compartmentalize feelings and keep plugging away and say, hey, that dude didn't mean that, And a woman goes, that hurt my feelings, and they are sad all day. So I guess these are things that we just need to rise above. Okay, then the last one is, it's called the rite of samadhi or samadhi. It's meditative absorption. So in my mind, meditation brings us to a calm. And it kind of it empties out our mind of clutter. And maybe when you can empty out your mind, you can bring in a presence of soul, a presence of enlightenment. And maybe that's what meditation is for, is to empty the clutter out of our mind so it can be filled up with new. And it can absorb the new and the fresh. That's pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Okay. So let's get to the next slide. Hang with me, everybody. So this was just from a card. So the core of Jesus. Jesus is an extended master. Of course he is. And Christ consciousness, huge. Jesus teaches that every individual is a manifestation of the divine and possesses the potential to embody Christ consciousness. That state of awareness is available to all who awaken to their oneness with Source. That's when you can align yourself. Many times we need to align ourselves with these extended masters. They are here for you and me. They are here to teach us. They're here because they want us to be successful. I feel they knew that this life is going to be hard. We're going to get thrown sideways. There's going to be a manipulation of evil. And they put these brilliant lights, these brilliant light beams upon this earth to teach us. And their words last forever. And we are to find those lights, and we're to align ourselves with those lights, with their words and their teachings. So it can just make our life a little bit easier, make it a little bit better, make it a little bit calmer, a little bit greater. And, I was just thinking something. I'm going to throw you a little bit off the path with that. But I was eating, I went out to dinner with a friend and we had steak. I got a steak. I love steak. I don't eat it very often. And asparagus. I just got 2 things. That's all I ate because I'm trying to get better on my eating. And I thought, you know what? Why did God give us taste buds? Really, we didn't have to have taste buds. I mean, why did he give us these things of pleasure? And I thought, I love my taste buds because I love taste. Have you guys ever thought of that? That sometimes you eat just for taste. You don't eat because it's good for you. Ice cream's not good for you, but you eat it because it tastes good. And why does it taste good? Because it comes from your taste buds that God gave you. And it's how we control that. And how, I mean, he wants us to be happy and he wants us to taste, but we have to make it relevant. We have to be wise and not just eat the whole gallon of ice cream. Maybe just take a couple scoops and just be satisfied with that and not for the whole thing. Spiritual liberation. His teachings focus on spiritual freedom and the importance of recognizing one's divine nature. Jesus encourages individuals to transcend traditional religion structures and connect directly with the divine. Okay, now this is huge because most of you know I was raised Mormon. I was indoctrinated when I was 7 years old, so I didn't have a choice. And it did confuse me greatly as a child because the Mormon church indoctrinates you thoroughly. So church and state, I was confused. Then I stayed in until my mid-30s, I think, and then I finally left that. But I realized when I left that church, because see, they threaten you that you're going to have the buffetings of Satan attack you if you're not a temple-going Mormon, if you're not following all the rules, then you are stripped of all your protection. And then Satan is going to feed on you. I was so scared. I'm not kidding. When you're indoctrinated in something like that and they tell you something like that, I thought I was just going to lie in bed and then Satan's going to come and just feed on my heart, And I thought my whole life's going to fall apart. I had a career. My career's going to fall apart. I'm going to just wither up and die. And then nothing happened. And then the next month, nothing happened. In fact, I was becoming more successful in my career then. And then nothing happened. And I went, then I realized it's not true. That was a smokescreen to get me to stay. Then I realized, because I do love God and I do love Jesus, and I said, I can still have a relationship with them outside of a religious code. Me personally. And so I developed my own personal relationship, my way. And I learned that there was so much love waiting for me when I abandoned myself to them and said, let's try this with just you and me without a religion. And I learned so much. And that's when I started my growth and my journey. My journey started then. And they stayed with me and they said, Robin, wait, we're going to show you something. And then I followed them. And here I am. And you also. Spiritual liberation, unity and love. Now, I'm not dogging churches because there's a lot of good things in churches. I love going to church. I love being around the energy of people at church. So this is just for your own discernment. Unity and love. As an ascended master, Jesus promotes the principles of unconditional love and unity. He invites humanity to embody these qualities in their daily lives, fostering a sense of community and interconnectedness. I think when you kind of come to this place of unconditional love and unity, that's when you will see people starting to step out of their lives, and they want to help society and humanity. And I really feel that is a maturity of soul. And how many of you here have experienced unconditional love? My only earthly example of unconditional love was my mom. My mom loved me in spite of me, and I loved her in spite of her. And I was adopted, so it was a different component than being of birth. But unconditional love is loving you in spite of you. And actually, I think I have a slide on that. So hold on one second. This one. I love you more than any human can. I know you. I see you. I hear you. I feel your heart. I love you for who I see you are, not what the world sees. That has no relevance to me. So when you have someone love you like that, you want to follow them. You want to follow their example. And once you bring that into you, your body will heal inside. I swear that you can heal yourself. You can heal your heart. You can heal your soul. You can heal relationships, and you can heal your health. If you can bring that type of love into you, because this is what it's about. And it's recognition that we are special. We are so special that these extended masters, some of them laid their lives down for us. That's how special we are, that they died for us. They gave their lives for us. They might have thought, I want to get married and have a bunch of kids and just hang out, surf or something. But no, their lives were for us. That's how special we are. And they knew how special we are in that one statement right there. Okay, let me go back. So then with this Christ consciousness, we need personal responsibility. Jesus emphasizes the importance of personal choice and responsibility in spiritual growth. He teaches that individuals must actively engage in their spiritual journey through practices such as prayer, meditation, and self-reflection. And I don't think I need to say any more on that. That is an individual thing. And the last one, the role of ascended masters, Jesus known as Sananda, and this is Sananda Kumara. We believe that this is his real name in the higher realms. Serves as a guide for humanity, assisting in evolution of consciousness and the ascension process. He embodies the essence of divine love and wisdom, acting as a bridge between spiritual and physical realms. Jesus totally was a transcendent master. And I do believe that he did walk between the two realms. And I learned something. I'm going to kind of throw you off again. I learned something. I have a show tomorrow. Henriette, she's Hungarian, and she's in Europe right now, and she's going to come on my show tomorrow night on Unveiling the Truth 333. Amazing woman, highly trained in the Tibetan ways. And we were talking because I've always Have you ever watched those people that can bend spoons? I always wanted to do that. I go, I want to bend a spoon. And she was talking about bending spoons. She can bend spoons. I go, okay, I can stare at a spoon all day long and it's not moving. And she goes, well, you're staring at the spoon. I go, well, yeah, how do you bend it? She goes, you don't see the spoon. You see what's in front of the spoon. I go, what do you mean what's in front of the spoon? She goes, there is a little opening. We have energy fields here and an energy field here. And then there's usually a little gap. And if you can widen that gap between the two energy fields that's in front of the spoon will just flop over. That's how it's done. She goes, you don't look at the spoon. You don't even see the spoon. You see the energy. And you're manipulating that energy with your mind, and you're opening up those codes and sequences to where there's an empty space, and then that spoon will have to collapse. And I went, what? You're blowing my mind. You are so blowing my mind. And I want you to know, it's going to be an amazing conversation we're going to have. She has been taught in the Tibetan ways. I had no idea that there's so much symbols in the Tibetan ways that she, with her hand, she knew how to manipulate symbols and energy, that they do this like this, and they can make a crystal in their hand. And it just starts forming through the energy and the codes and symbols. I went, okay, you're going to teach me that too. I go, okay, these are things I want to learn how to do. And I mean, I'm an oracle, I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, I'm a channeler, but I want to know these physical, tangible things. And I want to see them and I want to feel them. And so she actually has classes. We're going to talk about that too. So this is Sananda Kumara. I think Christ consciousness, however you want to see this, you need to develop a relationship with this ascended master. Actually, all ascended masters, you should Google, find them all, get a book on them, and study them, because they're here to help us on our pathway. And I know a lot of us have busy lives, but sometimes out of the corner of your life, carve some time to understand the awareness of these men or women that have given their time and their life upon this earth to you, because they did this for you. And I think that's what I want you to see. The teachings of extended masters offer a transformative perspective on spirituality, encouraging individuals to recognize their inherent divinity and purpose, a path of love, unity, and personal empowerment. By embracing these teachings, followers can cultivate a deeper connection with their spiritual selves and contribute to the collective awakening of humanity. That is ascension. Everybody wants to know how to ascend. That statement is ascension. And I wrote this down. I read this and I had to write this down. My soul honors your soul. Let me do this. Hold on 1 second. I want to go to this. I love this picture. So when I saw this picture, she took it from the Shroud of Turin and made it into AI. And then she manipulated it a little bit more. And when I saw this, and I feel like I've seen this man before. This man to me looks like Sananda. It looks like Jesus. And you see power, you see angelicness, and you see compassion, and you look into his eyes. His eyes see you. Can you see that? That those eyes are looking not at you, they're looking into you with love. And so be mindful of this master, that he loves us so much that he came here to help us on our journey, even to this day. Okay, so my soul honors your soul. I honor the place in where, oh, sorry. I honor the place in you where the entire universe resides. I honor the light, love, and truth, beauty, and peace within you, because it is also within me. In sharing these things, we are united. We are the same. We are one. I think if we look to our brothers and sisters, man and wife, uh, children, that we are all one. And each one of us has a journey. And why did God make us all different? No two people are the same. Why are we different? Why do we think different? Why do we see things different? Why do we act different? Why do we absorb things different? Because it's about you. And it's about how you, with who you are, how you can form yourself and then bring yourself as a helpmate, as strength, as a foundation. And I know I'm probably going to put a lot of responsibility on men, because men need to be men. We have not real men anymore. They're weak. And I think this is the year bringing the men back and their strength and capacity, because we women need to lean on our men. I know we're strong. We can take care of ourselves. But really, we need to lean on you. We need you to be strong. And we need to look to you for leadership. And I know that's a lot of responsibility on men, but you have it in you. God gave you broad shoulders so you can muster much on those shoulders. Okay. We went through that, and that is it. Okay, let me remove that. Okay, I think that's what I have that I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to bring this into you. And I wanted you to think, and I wanted me to think. I mean, I go through a lot too. And sometimes I go sideways and I have to refocus and rebalance. And sometimes you bring people into your lives that throw you sideways. And then you rebalance yourself. And it's not a bad thing. It's okay. As long as we understand our lessons and we understand our choices and we understand the foundation of where our choices come from. And I really feel that communication is key in a lot of areas of our lives. And I think we just need to understand that we're loved. Some of us might think that you're alone, but you're never alone, ever. There's angels, guides, and ascended masters. And they want to hold you. They want to help you. They want you to know that they're here, that you can draw on them and understand them and bring them in. And you need to sometimes abandon yourself and say, you know what? I can't do this alone. I need you. And I do that a lot. Because sometimes I think being a single woman too, that you get scared sometimes. And I think in this time of life too, you're thinking, I probably got a good 10 years or so ahead of me. And if certain things don't change, but before you think the body is going to start going sideways. And I think it's just we can't worry about the future. We have to worry about today. And that's kind of where I'm going with that. Does anybody have any questions that you want to ask me while I'm kind of in this mojo of essence? If not, we'll call it good. Okay. All right, you guys, thank you for joining me. And thank you for all those that are going to be popping on this later. I hope you get something out of it. And if you have anything you want to add, I'm not proficient in Buddha, but I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn. Pop on over tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be 2:00 Mountain Standard Time. Unveiling the Truth 333, and with Henrietta. She is going to be amazing. She's one strong woman, and her and I are really aligned intuitively and psychically, and how we have our thought processes. I think I shocked her because I said, what about this? What about that? What about this? And she goes, oh my gosh, I've never talked to another psychic that believes like I do. And I go, I know, we're kind of different. And we talked a lot. And she has the difference between her and I. She has training in Tibetan ways. She has training in a lot of different areas that I never did. I just stayed with being an oracle. Where I mean, that's good. That's good because it's aligned with a lot of things. But to bend a spoon, like it's on my bucket list. Teach me how to do that. And I want you to know too, she did a favor for me. I asked her. I was born part Panamanian and part English, Scottish, Irish. And the Panamanian side is my psychic side. I have a great grandmother that was very famous psychic in Panama. And people would come all over from, I guess, the world to talk with her, things like that. So she did crystal balls and she did cards readings. That's how she did her readings. And so something happened where a witch, a Panamanian witch, cursed her and cursed her lineage of women from this time forth. And whatever this witch did to her, it cursed the whole line of women, that we are either barren or we will never be successful in love, life, blah, 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 blah. And I said, from a very young age, my mom would always freak out when I would say this, because a lot of times my family didn't know what to do with me because they didn't know much about psychicness. And then here I know things. And I said, I feel cursed. I'm cursed. I kept saying, I'm cursed. And my mom goes, oh, you're not cursed. What are you talking about? Anyway, I always felt a monkey on my back. And then I found my birth mother. And I think I've told you this story before, that when I found my birth mother and the very first phone call, she said, first thing out of her mouth, are you psychic? I said, I think so, a little bit. And we talked about that. Anyway, then I found about my great-great-grandmother, that it goes like every other generation, she says, the strength of this psychicness. So she said she got a little bit of it, but she knew that her next one was wondering which one of her children had it. And anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, I lost it. Oh, with the curse. So then I did DNA and I found all my cousins. There's a lot of them. And I talked to one of them on the phone and she talked about the curse. And my mouth fell open because I said, it's so weird that you say that, because I always feel like there's this monkey on my back and I can't get it off. I've tried to get this off. I've tried to meditate. I've tried to cleanse. I've tried everything to get this appendage or something's on me. And she says, the curse, it's the curse. It's the curse of this. And she's actually gone to Panama because this great-great-grandmother was married to a chief of police. He was killed in front of the house. Something happened. Anyway, Castro kicked her off their mansion of land or something. So the family, the original family, is trying to get their land back in Panama, where Castro, I guess, took it. And so I went, okay, well, that's too much information for me. Anyway, and so Henrietta, I said, do you work with curses? Because I've asked several psychos, can you work with curses? And no one can help me. And she goes, yeah, I'll take it off you. I go, what? You could just like that? You could take it off me? And she goes, well, it's not like that. But she goes, tell me about it, and then I will do what I need to do that I've been trained to do and take it off you. And so last night she emailed me and she said, she goes, sometimes, you pray, you want to bring in Jesus and all this stuff for that. But sometimes these things are a human thing and we have to do the work, and then it'll be removed from extended masters. But we have to get it to them, get it out of you to them so they can dissolve it. And so that's what she did last night. And she goes, so she wouldn't tell me exactly what she did. So we're going to talk about that. But she said, you're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to feel different. You're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel happier. You're going to feel that appendage off you. And as I was walking today, I just started smiling. It's like it dissolved. And she goes, I'm not only going to take it off of you, I'm going to take it off your whole line of women because it has to be dissolved all the way down. And I went, a lot of people don't believe in that, but it's true. Some of these things are true. And sometimes you just need help from people that are trained in it. Just so you know, it's not a bad thing. It's not an evil thing. They are just trained to see it and trained to remove it and then have it dissolved through prayer, through God, through Jesus, through extended master, whoever. So if you guys have any questions, email me at robinhyatt@yahoo.com. And I will see you tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. Very excited. And she's going to give me about an hour and a half of her time. And we're going to talk about who she is, what she does, how she knows all this stuff. And she has classes coming up. And I think I might do her classes. I met her on a meetup. She has a meetup. I can't remember the name of it. Golden Light something. Anyway, I'm not doing meetups anymore, but she's going to have some classes starting. So maybe join me. We can do a class together with her because she's worth it. Talk to you later. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Peace out. Thanks. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm wanting to do one thing before I leave. Hold on. See if it'll work. Okay, yeah. I think it will.
All paths lead to the same truth.